For me, painting is a series of ups and downs. Rarely, though, have I had such a huge downturn as I had recently, where it just seemed like nothing I painted was working the way I wanted to. I actually had 2 in a row that just were total messes and I had to scrap, the 2 that you see on screen right now. I had to figure out, I was starting to get kind of flustered with my not being able to implement what I wanted, so I had to figure out, how can I get back on track? So what I decided to do was get back to basics. And that is the painting that I have on screen right now, which, when I say get back to basics, for everyone it's probably a little different. Probably kind of how you started or what you've done the most of. And for me, that is just do a head and shoulders portrait. That's how I started. That's what I've certainly done a pretty large number of. I think of the 240-ish paintings I've done, probably 170, 180 of them were head and shoulders portraits. So I've done a ton of them, have a lot of practice. I couldn't get the other 2 paintings right. And both of them were figure studies. They were both a little bit different sizes, but for whatever reason, I was just on a tremendous kind of downturn, like a slump, where the paintbrush wasn't cooperating and I just couldn't. With one of them, with the first one that I did, the composition wasn't very good and I didn't like it. And then the things that I was putting to paper just wasn't working. So with the second one, I tried to use the same paper, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And in this case, it really became a muddy mess. I became a mud mixer with the oil paints. It just didn't work. So started fresh, grabbed a new piece of 9x12 Strathmore textured oil paper and just went to work. And I thought, let's do a head. Let's kind of get the sort of 3/4 view position, not quite profile, not quite straight on, a little bit. Just of a guy with a beard. I've talked about beards before on male subjects. Probably a little bit of a crutch for me, but in this case, I feel like I kind of needed a crutch. I needed something to get my painting confidence back and get back into the swing of things. So this was perfect for that. And I feel like it's something that I really needed to get back into the swing of things, because I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, well, gosh, do I need to take a break? Have I been painting too much lately? I hadn't been painting too much, but some of these crazy thoughts sort of crossed my mind. Had the thought, like, don't stop now. You've still got a little bit of free time today. Don't stop. Just try something that is simpler and more comfortable and more routine. So it did work out a lot better. Like, it's not a masterpiece. It's not something I'm going to frame. I don't even know if I'll put it on the print shop or not. It's really loose and really basic. But for a loose, basic oil painting portrait, sometimes those, like almost the equivalent of a sketch, just a head study. Sometimes you need those. Sometimes you need them for practice. Sometimes you need them just to get loose and get the paint onto a page and get going, get yourself going. And in my case, get myself out of a rut. At this stage in the painting, you can kind of see that things worked better than the other 2 and certainly are more in line with kind of my usual. I went through the process just kind of trying to use a driving analogy, get your tires into the grooves, the well-worn paths that you've already been down, and just sort of, work out the things that you've done before. Starting with the rough outline of the head and working in some darker color blends and blending some familiar tones that I've done before, and just kind of layering, trying to get the little zones of color going. And I wasn't going to make this anything elaborate with any elaborate background. Obviously, the paper's a little smaller than the others that I was trying to use before, so I wasn't going to do anything super elaborate. I wanted the head to be big. That way I could get enough detail so that I wouldn't get frustrated. So there really wasn't room to add a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I just kind of gave a rough dark background. I love dark backgrounds, so seemed appropriate, kind of given the theme of getting back on track and getting kind of into the groove again. So that's kind of what I did for this one, just getting the rough stuff, the basics down, and it worked. I felt good when I finished this and kind of got some confidence back as far as, feel like I can move to another piece and get back to maybe a figure study or something, which I actually did for the next painting, the weekend following this one. So mission accomplished, I guess. It worked. So those are my thoughts on getting back to the basics and kind of recovering if you feel like something is not working out. But thanks for watching this one. I hope to see you for the next video.